My fiancé made a split-second decision that has cost me a year of my life, and I'm furious. So yeah, here's my life now. I'm sitting in a recliner that cost more than my first car, with a plastic urinal on one side, a tray table on the other, and a giant-ass back brace digging into my ribs. There's a bag of McDonald's fries I can't even reach unless I call my fiancé over like a helpless toddler, and I just cried because I dropped my toothbrush. You know what's wild? All this pain, all this crap, started with a fucking Chipotle craving. March 14th, dumbest day of my goddamn life. It was a Thursday. I remember because I was off from college that day and I had planned this little solo Target run, new planner, maybe hit up Starbucks, treat myself. But my fiancé, Chris, 30 texts me like, "Let's take Caleb to Chipotle after preschool, he's been asking for it." Cool. I cancel my chill day and go along, cause it's Chipotle and I love their fucking steak bowls. We pick up his kid, who's 5 and obsessed with guac even though he never eats it. The three of us hit the Chipotle over by the Walmart in Arlington. I ordered the same thing I always do. Steak bowl, brown rice, black beans, no sour cream. Chris gets a double chicken burrito that looks like it weighs 10 pounds. We eat, we laugh, Caleb drops a spoon, nothing weird, just a regular boring weekday dinner. Then on the drive back, we hit this busy-ass intersection. Flashing yellow light. You know the kind. It's not a full-on stop, but you're supposed to yield. There's this black Chevy speeding toward us from the left lane. I see it right away and something in my stomach twists. I say, "Wait, don't go, just wait till it turns green." Chris doesn't even look at me. I can feel him tensing like he's about to floor it. I go louder this time. "Chris, stop, that car's coming fast." And he just fucking goes. Like something in his brain glitched and he decided he was gonna beat the Chevy. I remember screaming, like not a dramatic movie scream, just one of those automatic primal, "Oh my God," yells. And then the sound, metal crumpling, glass shattering, Caleb crying. I blacked out for a second, I think. I just remember this horrible pressure, like a building landed on top of me. I couldn't move. I was stuck between the seat and the console, and it felt like something was tearing inside my hips. Chris was yelling my name. Caleb was sobbing in the back seat, but not bleeding, thank God. The guy in the Chevy was fine, yelling something about "What the fuck were you thinking?" and dialing someone on a flip phone. Yeah, like it was 2009. Paramedics came. I remember the sirens before I saw them. One of them asked me if I could feel my legs. I told him they were burning. That's when they cut me out of the car. I didn't even care about the pain at that point. I just wanted to stop feeling like I was being ripped apart. At the hospital, they ran scans and told me the list. 2 clean breaks in my pelvis. Fractures in my tailbone, L4 and L5 spinal fractures. A cracked sternum. The doctor looked like he didn't know how I was conscious. I remember staring at the ceiling tiles and thinking, I just wanted fucking Chipotle. They rolled me into surgery the next morning. I was awake for some of the prep. I remember one nurse arguing with another about the brace size they were ordering for me. One said medium, the other said large. They flipped a fucking coin. I'm not joking. I came out of surgery with 2 steel screws in my pelvis, 7 inches long. I saw the x-ray and laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it looked like someone installed fucking IKEA parts into my body. The brace they gave me was a joke. It hung off my shoulders like a busted backpack. Chris tried to help adjust it. My mom asked the nurse for another one. They shrugged. I was expected to get up and walk around in that thing. I tried once. I collapsed halfway to the bathroom and screamed so loud someone in the next room called for security thinking I was being attacked. I didn't eat. I didn't want to. I didn't care about food or meds or anything. The physical therapist came in and I told him to go FK himself, which I still feel kind of bad about, but also not really. He kept saying things like, "You're strong, you've got this." Like he wasn't asking me to move a body that felt like it had been hit by a fucking Tesla. After a week of this circus, they dumped me in a rehab center. I don't even remember the name. Something with meadows in it. Always meadows or hills, like that makes it comforting. It smelled like old people and bleach. That place broke me. I didn't shower for 6 days. I peed in a bedpan that leaked. A nurse yelled at me once for pressing the call button too often. I wasn't allowed outside. I missed Caleb's kindergarten recital. Chris brought me flowers from Kroger and I told him to take them home. I didn't want to look at him. He kept apologizing, kept saying I didn't see the car or I thought we had time. But all I could think was, I told you to stop. I said it, and now I might never walk right again. It's been a month now. I'm home, still not walking, still hurting. I sit on a donut cushion. I wear a brace that barely fits. I cry when I have to poop because my body doesn't know how to do it without pain. Chris has been trying. I'll give him that. He helps me bathe. He cooks. He bought this fancy adjustable bed frame off Amazon with same-day delivery. Spent like $350, and I didn't even say thank you. I couldn't. Not yet. I'm so fucking angry. Not just at him, at everything. I had finally started feeling like I was doing something with my life. Wasn't stuck anymore. CrossFit 3 times a week, back in school, eating better, managing my ADHD for once. I had momentum. And now, I can't even get to the bathroom without crying. So yeah, that's where I'm at. One dumb move at a blinking yellow light, and now I've lost a year, maybe more. And every second I sit in this chair with my bones rattling and my life on hold, I think about how I fucking told him to wait. And he didn't. If you had asked me before the crash what the worst part of an accident like this would be, I would have said the physical pain. Broken bones, surgery, whatever. That's what people think when they hear T-boned at 50 mph, but I'm telling you right now, that wasn't the worst part. The worst part is realizing how many fucking things in your life require a working pelvis, like sneezing, or coughing, or God forbid, laughing. Try watching a stupid TikTok your little cousin sends you of a cat attacking a Domino's pizza delivery guy while you're stitched together like Frankenstein. I laughed. I cried. And then I nearly passed out from the pain. The human body is a scam. Chris keeps telling me, don't push yourself. But he doesn't get it. I have to push. You think I want to ask my fiancé to wipe my ass because CVS ran out of those adult wipes again and I haven't been able to shower properly in days? No. But I don't get a choice. We've had fights, small ones, big ones, stupid ones. Like the other night, I asked him to grab my charger from the kitchen. He sighed. Just a little, but loud enough. I snapped. I'm sorry, is helping your crippled fiancé too much of a fucking inconvenience now? He stood there holding a pack of Walmart brand granola bars like a deer in headlights. He didn't say anything, just walked off. Came back with the charger and set it on my lap without a word. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about the gap between our car and that Chevy. Between the life I was building and where I am now. Between me and Chris. He hasn't touched me since the accident. Not in that way. Not even close. We sleep in the same room, but it feels like two people in two different worlds. I know he's trying. He's doing the laundry, cooking pasta with Rouse like he thinks he's in a fucking Olive Garden commercial. Even found my favorite Cold Stone flavor and had it postmated on a Wednesday just because. But still, something's off. Something deep. Like we both know this wasn't just a car accident. Something got cracked open between us that night, and we've been pretending it's not there. Oh, and guess who showed up last weekend? Chris's ex, Caleb's mom, Katie. That woman could smell drama from 3 counties away. She came over to drop off some of Caleb's toys and walked in like she owned the place. She hugged Caleb, said hi to Chris, then looked at me in my brace and said, "Oh my God, you poor thing. That must be so hard for you." Bitch, I was literally mid-sponge bath and she walked into our apartment like we were on fucking House Hunters. I told Chris to tell her to wait outside next time, but he brushed it off. She just wanted to help. She brought snacks for Caleb. Yeah, apple slices and a single fucking Lunchable. Calm down, Martha Stewart. The next day, I heard Caleb asking if I was gonna die like the dog from Marley and Me. And when I asked where he heard that, he said, "Mommy said sometimes when people break their hips, they don't come back." I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell Katie to go eat a bag of rusty nails. Instead, I told Caleb, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm just broken for a little while, but I'll be back soon." He asked, "Like a toy that gets fixed at the Lego store?" I smiled and said yes. Then I cried into a Starbucks cup filled with watered-down Diet Coke after he went to bed. The real kicker? My school emailed me the same day. Apparently, I didn't file the paperwork correctly to pause my classes. So now I owe over $800 in tuition fees for classes I never attended. I tried calling, but I couldn't even get past the damn automated system. It kept saying press 1 for English while I was hunched over a bedpan and halfway in tears. Chris offered to pay it. I told him no. He said, "I caused this, let me help." I told him I didn't want blood money. That pissed him off. Blood money? Are you serious right now? I told you to stop. I literally said the words, and now I've got fucking screws in my ass. So yeah, kinda serious. He left. Just got up, walked out, slammed the door. Came back an hour later with Taco Bell and a handwritten apology note that looked like it came from a 5th grader. He even drew a fucking sad face on it. I should have thrown it at his head, but I kept it. I don't know why. Maybe because deep down, I still love the idiot. Maybe because I don't know how to stop loving someone who made a stupid mistake. Or maybe because I'm so afraid of being alone through this that I'm clinging to whatever the hell is left. One more thing. The guy who hit us, turns out he works at Lowe's. I only know because the insurance adjuster mentioned it during a call with Chris. He said, "The Lowe's employee involved will be testifying if this goes to court." Testifying. Like it's my fault. Like I wasn't the one in the passenger seat screaming, "Wait!" Like I'm just some extra in the story. I'm not. I'm the one with broken bones and a broken fucking future. So yeah, now we're dealing with insurance. Chris keeps telling me we'll get something close to 6 figures. Like that's supposed to help. Like 100K can buy back my body, my independence, my momentum. Next week, I've got another doctor's appointment. They're gonna do some x-rays and tell me if I can finally start weight bearing on my right leg. Chris is excited. He keeps talking about the recovery timeline, like this is just a temporary little detour before we get back to planning our wedding. But I haven't even looked at my dress. It's still hanging in the closet, covered in that cheap plastic from David's bridal, untouched, like a joke from a life that doesn't exist anymore. Right. So here's where it all went from bad to, is this some kind of fucking simulation levels of chaos? Remember that six-figure settlement Chris was talking about? Yeah, that was a pipe dream soaked in Mountain Dew and delusion. We finally had the meeting with the insurance adjuster, some guy named Greg who showed up to our apartment wearing a wrinkled Men's Warehouse shirt and reeked of Subway. I couldn't tell if the smell was actual tuna or the weird chemically bread they use, but whatever. He looked like someone who still uses a Hotmail email. Greg sits down, flips open this janky-ass Dell laptop from 2006, and goes, "So based on preliminary estimates factoring in the police report, we're looking at compensation somewhere in the range of..." Pause. Dramatic enough to make me think he's about to say 150K. 37,000. I actually laughed. Like, full-on laughed. Chris grabbed my hand under the table like I was about to throw something at Greg. Honestly, I was. I said 37,000? I have screws in my pelvis. I can't wipe my own ass without crying. I missed a year of school. What the hell does 37K fix? Greg had the audacity to say, "Well, we also take into account your quality of life prior to the accident. You were a student part-time with no full-time job, correct?" I wanted to scream, "Yeah, because I was building my life back up from actual rock bottom, Greg. Sorry I wasn't sitting on an Apple executive salary before your client's dumbass hit us like it was Fast and Furious, Walmart parking lot drift edition." Chris was fuming. He stood up and said something like, "We're not settling for that. She needs long-term physical therapy, trauma counseling, adaptive equipment." Greg cut him off. "The final offer hasn't been made yet. This is just an estimate. The claim's still being processed." Whatever. I told him to leave before I filed a second claim for emotional terrorism. After he left, Chris tried to be all positive like, "Hey, we'll get a lawyer, we'll fight it." And I just sat there thinking about all the lawyers I can't afford, all the bills piling up, and how my fucking $300 bed frame squeaks every time I try to roll over because I still can't sit upright without help. Anyway, a couple days later, Katie comes back. Yup, Katie, round two. This time she brought Caleb back from her weekend custody visit and decided she was gonna stay for dinner, which would have been fine if she hadn't spent the entire meal casually digging into my accident like it was fucking gossip. "So, how's the lawsuit going? Are you suing Chris or just the driver?" I choked on my food. Chris gave her this side eye like, "WTF are you doing?" But she kept going. "I just think it's crazy how something like this can change everything, you know? Like, do you still want to get married? You've been through so much." I said, "Katie, unless you're offering to pay my hospital bills or wipe my ass, maybe keep the questions to yourself." She laughed like I was joking. Chris told her to leave. She made a scene on her way out. "I'm just trying to make sure Caleb's gonna be okay in a house full of tension." Sorry for caring. No one asked you to care, Jan from Facebook. Go post another live laugh love meme and leave my broken bones out of it. Later that night, I asked Chris again, straight up, "Why didn't you stop?" He froze, like deer in headlights frozen. Then he said it again. "I thought we had time." I just stared at him. "So you were playing chicken? With a 5-year-old in the back seat? And me in the passenger seat? For what? To beat traffic? To get home 10 seconds earlier?" He didn't answer, just stared at the floor like it had answers. That was the first night I asked him to sleep on the couch, not out of spite, just... I needed space. I needed to stop pretending like this was normal. And it's not just the crash anymore, it's everything. The way he doesn't look at me the same. The way I've turned into a project instead of a partner. He brushes my hair for me, and it feels like I'm being prepped for a fucking funeral. Also, little side story. I got a letter from the college. Not only do I owe the $800 from last semester, but apparently because I didn't complete my rehab forms in time, I'm now on academic probation. I called the admin office, spoke to someone named Madison with 2 Ds who told me the appeal process takes several weeks. When I asked what I'm supposed to do in the meantime, she said, maybe use the time to reflect. Reflect on what, Madison? How my pelvis now clicks every time I try to piss? So I did what any rational, emotionally stable person would do. I rage ordered $70 worth of junk from Amazon. A squishmallow, a weighted blanket, and a copy of Eat, Pray, Love that I'll never fucking read. Chris didn't even comment. He just brought in the package and said, "Anything else you need?" Yeah, a time machine. Got one of those? Later that night, we were watching Hulu, some random reality show about tiny homes, and I asked him, "Do you ever think we rushed into this?" He blinked, turned the volume down. What do you mean? I mean, maybe we jumped into this relationship too fast. Or maybe you're not the guy I thought you were. Or maybe I'm just pissed at the world and I don't know who to blame anymore. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, I fucked up, but I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. I wanted to believe him, but the truth? I don't know if I'm still here. I feel like a stranger in my own skin. I feel like I'm stuck in someone else's story. Like I got rewritten overnight into this fragile, angry, resentful version of myself that I don't even recognize. And the worst part? I don't know how to fix it. All right. So after the whole insurance BS, Katie stirring the pot, and me mentally checking out halfway through every conversation with Chris, I decided I was going to try to start rebuilding something, anything. I told myself, I just need one win, one fucking thing that makes me feel like a person again, like I have some kind of control over my life. So I signed up for aqua therapy. It sounded gentle, harmless. I imagined myself floating in a heated pool like one of those rich old ladies at a fancy spa. I even bought a new swimsuit from Target. Black, high-waisted, supportive. The kind of suit that says, I've seen some sit, but I still look decent from the waist up. Chris was thrilled I was trying. He offered to drive me. Fine, cool. We show up to this local rec center that smells like sweat, chlorine, and expired Axe body spray. There's a bunch of old people stretching and laughing, and I start thinking, okay, this could work. I get changed, hobble my way to the pool steps, and the moment I dip my foot in, bam, cold. Like Titanic cold. The instructor yells, don't worry, you'll warm up as you move. I wanted to yell back, I can't move, Diane. I'm held together by metal and prayers. But I go in anyway, because I need the win. 5 minutes later, I'm crying in 3 feet of water. Not just from the pain, from everything. The stairs, the instructor trying to act like I wasn't visibly sobbing. The old guy next to me floating with a goddamn pool noodle like this is Club Med. I made it 15 minutes before I had Chris pull me out and drive me home. We didn't talk the whole way back. I cried the entire ride, just wiped my face with my towel and let it happen. So yeah, that was supposed to be my big return to normal. Instead, I spent the rest of the day in bed with a heating pad and one of those McDonald's apple pies that burn your mouth no matter how long you wait. But that's not even the worst part. Here's where Saint goes sideways. Katie found out about the insurance money, or the potential for it, I should say. Apparently, Chris mentioned it in passing when dropping Caleb off. Something stupid like, yeah, we're just waiting on the settlement. And this nosy Dollar Tree version of Elle Woods decides she's entitled to a piece of it. No, I'm not kidding. She texted Chris, I saw it, saying, just FYI, if you're about to come into a large sum of money, you might want to reconsider your child support arrangement. Caleb deserves to benefit too. He showed me the message and said, she's bluffing, she can't touch your money. I said, your money. And that's when I knew. Deep down, Chris wasn't seeing it as my compensation. Not really, not anymore. I said, you think you're entitled to this too? He tried to walk it back, said he didn't mean it like that. But the words were out there now, like a fart in a small room. You can't just ignore it. That night, I didn't eat dinner. I sat in bed watching New Girl reruns on Netflix while Chris made himself a burrito with those Mission tortillas I told him taste like cardboard. He didn't ask if I wanted one, probably afraid I'd throw it at his head. Next day, he came home with papers. I swear to God, I thought it was divorce stuff. But no, it was a fucking business plan. Chris has this side hustle where he details cars on weekends. Mostly his buddies from work and a couple of random Facebook Marketplace clients. He's been talking for months about turning it into a legit business. And now, with the settlement money coming, he wants to open a shop. He had the whole thing printed out, a spreadsheet with estimated startup costs, down payment for a garage lease, even logos he made on Canva. And right there, on the budget line, initial investment, $25,000, injury settlement. I said, you're kidding, right? He said, it's not like I'm taking the whole thing, just a portion. To build something for us. I laughed. Us? You mean you? You get to build something. I get to rebuild my fucking pelvis. He started getting defensive. I've been here every day helping you. I've taken off work. I've cooked. I've cleaned. I'm just asking for some help now. I said, you're not asking. You're planning to spend money that was meant to help me recover. You didn't break your fucking back, Chris. We argued for an hour. At one point, I yelled, I should have just sued your ass directly. And he snapped, maybe you should have. Silence. I don't even remember how the fight ended. I just know he slept on the couch again. Caleb asked the next morning if we were getting separate houses. I told him no, but I didn't sound very convincing. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, Chris's mom showed up. Yeah, unannounced. She rang the doorbell holding a fucking rotisserie chicken from Costco and this passive-aggressive smile like she'd been waiting for a reason to hate me since day one. She walks in, puts the chicken down, and immediately starts in. I just think maybe this has been a sign from God, you know, to slow down. Maybe take a break from the wedding plans. Focus on healing. And maybe Chris can use this time to think about what he really wants. I asked her, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" She smiles. "Nothing, sweetie. I just think this has all been very revealing." Chris didn't say a word. Not a single fucking word. Just sat there eating a slice of chicken while his mom basically told me I was damaged goods. She left an hour later. I told Chris she's not welcome here again. He said nothing. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm trapped in a broken body, in a tense relationship, being eyed by his ex like a settlement check, while his mom treats me like I'm some failed audition. And every day that passes, I start to wonder more and more if I even want to stay. This wasn't the comeback year I imagined. I woke up at 3 a.m. last Thursday from a nightmare. I was back in the car. The light was flashing yellow. I kept saying, "Stop, stop, stop." But Chris couldn't hear me. Then everything froze, like the crash never happened. But I could feel my body breaking anyway. I looked down and my legs weren't there. I woke up shaking, sweaty, reaching for my phone even though I haven't looked at my notifications in weeks. Just muscle memory. Chris was asleep on the floor again. His choice this time, not mine. He had a pillow from the couch and was curled up like a frat boy who drank too much. I stared at him for a long time, just breathing heavy, waiting for the panic to pass. And I realized I didn't feel safe anymore. Not just in my body, in my life. I didn't hate him. I didn't even think he was a bad person. I just didn't trust him. The next morning, I told him we needed to talk. He immediately started with, "Is this about my mom? I didn't know she was going to say all that. I cut him off. "No, it's not about your mom. It's not about Katie. It's not about fucking Greg from the insurance company." He sat down slowly, waiting, nervous. I told him I needed space. Not like a break. Not like, let's cool off and try again next month. I meant I needed to be somewhere else. Alone. To figure out if I even wanted to be in this anymore. If there was even an us left. He didn't speak for a while. Then he just nodded. Quiet. Eyes glossy. Not crying. Just broken in a way I hadn't seen before. And you know what? That made it worse. Because I still cared. I still wanted him to be okay. I just didn't want to be his responsibility anymore. So I called my cousin Mia. She lives on the other side of Fort Worth, in this quiet little duplex behind a Circle K. She's got 2 cats, a tiny backyard, and 0 patience for bullshit. I told her everything. Not just the crash, but how I lost myself in the middle of trying to hold everything together. She said, "I'll come get you Sunday. You can stay as long as you need." Chris helped me pack, quietly. He folded my Target pajamas and rolled up the charger cords like it was any other trip. Then he loaded the wheelchair ramp into the back of Mia's beat-up Ford Escape and kissed me on the forehead before I left. That was a week ago. Right now, I'm sitting in Mia's kitchen with one of her cats on my lap and a warm iced coffee I can barely lift because my core still screams every time I twist. But it's quiet here. No tension, no pretending. I've had time to think. About the wedding that probably isn't happening. About how I haven't worn the ring in over a week. About the way my body still hurts when it rains. About how I used to wake up at 6 a.m. for CrossFit, and now I wake up hoping I can take a sit without assistance. I don't hate Chris. I need to be clear about that. He made a mistake. A huge one. But I truly believe he didn't mean to hurt me. I don't think we're the same people we were before that crash. And I don't know if we're compatible anymore. Not when I need someone who listens, who hears me, who doesn't treat my instincts like background noise. I'm still doing therapy, twice a week now, working through the grief, because yeah, this is grief. I'm mourning the version of me that was so close to getting her sit together. The girl who was deadlifting 135, laughing through kale smoothies, passing her exams. She's gone. Or maybe she's just buried under pain and scar tissue and awkward medical equipment. I don't know. All I know is that this year didn't just break my bones, it broke my certainty, my timeline, my trust. But I'm still here. Not whole, not healed, but here. And that has to count for something. I don't need sympathy. I just needed to tell this story. To anyone out there who's ever had their life upended by someone else's bad decision, I see you. You're not crazy, you're not overreacting, and you're allowed to be angry even when the other person didn't mean to hurt you. I'm learning that forgiveness isn't the same as staying. And healing doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. So yeah, that's my story. Maybe it ends with a reunion, maybe not. But for now, I'm just focusing on walking again. One slow, painful, stubborn-ass step at a time. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.